daily gambling game show that takes betting seriously, but not much else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now. So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Subject som känner konstnärer konstnärerna. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben.
Oh, sorry. I was skanking to the beat. Welcome to Wanna Bet. It is our Tuesday edition. We are creeping closer to the NBA Finals. And Ben and I have our friend Ariel Epstein with us. Ariel's been handicapping for years. She comes on our radio show in Baltimore, Inside Access, pretty much every Friday, and has been gracious enough to share her plays with us there for a few years. And she's even more gracious with her time here. And she's got her new wonder pup, Marley, who we will learn a little bit more about and see. Everyone will get to see Marley. I'll just tease a little bit. We've got some Marley going.
She looks so cute.
Yeah,
she doesn't sound so cute right now, barking at me in her crate. But she looks really cute when she's with me.
No, she's great. We will learn more about Marley. We may bet on some dogs, and we certainly have some plays. But Ariel, let everybody know where they can find all of your picks before we dive into first down here.
So every day on the Prop Queen Pod, it's from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. I go through the entire card for mostly baseball and basketball, but I bring on a lot of great guests for all other sports. I cap NFL, MLB, and NBA. I know that there are sports like the NHL, UFC, golf, tennis that people are so interested in. So I bring on guests. I'm not somebody that's going to sit here and pretend that I know how to handicap sports that I don't handicap. I like to make a lot of connections in the business. So from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern time on weekdays, you can check out the Prop Queen Pod on X, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram at Prop Queen Sports. You can also subscribe to the YouTube page to get more extra videos. I have a newsletter as well, thepropqueen.com, click newsletter. And every day, it's not a pick selling service. It's a service where you can go and get all the information that you need for the day for especially MLB, NBA, and NFL props. It tells you everything that's in the show, but if you want it at 10 in the morning, instead of waiting for the lines to move at 5 p.m. when the show is, then you can subscribe to the premium subscription of the Prop Queen newsletter.
Excellent. And again, you can just you can go to Ariel's X feed and pretty much find where you can find everything else.
And Jason, I'm so happy that you are doing this because we were talking about our shows and starting our own thing months ago. Yeah. And here we are, both of us. We took the leap. We did it. This industry is absolutely insane. You've been in it longer than I have, and you know all this twists and turns that this business makes you do. If you don't want to adapt, you have to retire.
Yeah, no, totally. And I'm lucky enough to have Beltway Ben, who understands all the technical stuff and to do the things that I have no idea how to do.
I think we should see what one show looks like of you doing it.
No, we shouldn't. Well, let's make some money off it first, and then we can dabble with how the sausage is made. But a lot of Beltway Ben and a little bit of AI can go a long way. We use AI to make goofy theme songs and goofy logos, but not for our bets. Our bets are 100% human generated, and you've got the honor, Ariel, of giving us your first bet of the day. What's your play on first down?
My play on first down is a dog, and that's why we love our Marley girl, the Pub Queen. Mets, Dodgers. The typical, the Dodgers can't lose 2 in a row at home. They just lost yesterday 4-3 in extra innings to the Mets. This line moved 10 cents in favor of the Mets overnight, despite 70+% of bets and money coming in on the Dodgers. So that's what I call a fishy line.
Yes.
The Mets are a top 10 team in OPS against lefties. Clayton Kershaw starting for the Dodgers. We know that Kershaw is not who he used to be. Kershaw can't go that deep into games. The bullpen advantage, it goes to the Mets, second best in baseball. Dodgers, 17th. You could go if you just want to go starters and you don't think that Kershaw can have success against a Mets team that's really good against lefties. Then you could go first 5 if you're just comparing starters. If you want to trust the bullpens, which the Mets bullpen is a little bit overused, so that's why I was saying first 5 would be my first down. I trust Tyler McGill against the Dodgers, actually, more than I trust Clayton Kershaw against the Mets just because of splits. I would take the first 5 money line. But again, if you're not worried about the Mets kind of overutilizing their bullpen in the last few days, then you can go and look at the Mets full game.
Yeah, I got burned on the Dodgers last night, thinking that they wouldn't lose 2 in a row at home. Took extra innings, but I was wrong. Beltway Ben, what you got, brother?
Sticking in that game, I want to go with the over 9 at -120. Ariel talked about it. I think Kershaw's cooked. His last outing was against the Guardians lineup, who's bottom 5 against lefties in OPS. Not very good. As she said, the Mets are top 10. And Soto's starting to turn it around a little bit. If he can get it going, it's going to be awesome for them and him. We know the dreadful start that he had to the season, all the complaints and everything, but he's got 5 hits in his last 4 games, including 2 home runs. If he can keep that rolling, this lineup will be that much better. And then McGill, the Dodgers have an 824 OPS against right-handed pitching since May 1st. That's the best in the MLB. It's a dangerous lineup, 1 through 9. And then Mookie Betts is back. Coming off the foot injury, we'll see how good he is. But him being in the lineup is certainly an upgrade. So I like this game to go over 9, -120, a little bit of juice, but I'm taking it over 9.
Excuse me. I'm going to take a baseball play here as well. It's a little bit of a longer term one, and I'll explain my position. I'm looking at the Kansas City Royals to win the AL Central at 14-1. Now, I didn't go crazy in futures markets before the baseball season started, but as Ben knows from my radio show, I was fading the Orioles to make the playoffs. I was fading the Orioles under their team total of 87 and also fading them in alt markets under 81 and lower. And I was on the Tigers. I love the Tigers to win the division. I love the Tigers to make the playoffs. I love the Tigers to go over their win total. And I love Jackson Jobe to win Rookie of the Year. So we'll see about that one. The other ones look good. So why am I on the Royals here? Well, because if they do blow this, if the Tigers blow this, I don't think it's to the Twins because I don't think they can ever stay healthy. I don't buy the Guardians lineup at all. And I do believe that the Royals, with a little help at the deadline, and they made major deadline moves last year, can close the gap. Like, the Royals have already played 24 games within that division, more than anybody else. And it's been a bit of a gauntlet, but they've held their own, 12-12. Like, I think you're buying low on the Royals right now. They've won like 7 of their last 21. Tigers have won 14 of their last 21. That's really the difference in the standings right now. Are the Tigers going to maintain this torrid pace? And with the state of that roster, if one more starter goes down, if one regular bat goes down, I just, their prospects to me, I like what they have in A and AA more than the high minors. The Royals just called up an impact bat, Jack Castiglione. I don't know if I pronounced it.
Castiglione,
yeah. This kid was pushing 20 home runs and 60 RBIs in the high minors already this year. I do believe they'll make a power move at the deadline. And what I like about them is they're 3rd in Major League Baseball in starters ERA, 7th in relief ERA. They have a playoff pedigree. We know that Pasquatch and Witt can be aircraft carriers. I'm a little worried about Sal Perez maybe finally hitting the wall. But if they go out and get, if this kid, Jack, is who he's supposed to be, and they go get one more bat with their pitching and with their schedule down the stretch, I'll take 14-1 for them to close that gap. And again, I'm also doing it through the prism that I'm leveraged on the Tigers. So this for me is a hedge. I'm not telling you to go out and put a ton of money on it, but I do think the Tigers are not going to play this level of ball all year. And if one team could nip at their heels, I think it's the Royals. They're very athletic. They can go get the ball. They can manufacture, run small ball, and they're built for their ballpark. All right, Ben, second down. What you got?
Yeah, sticking in the MLB here. I'm going with the Phillies' first 5 run line at -118. If you look, Bowden Francis at home has a 6.43 ERA, and he's only gotten through 5 innings in one of those starts of 6 at Rogers Center. And it's not just one outing where it was bad and the rest have been good and the ERA is just kind of in flux. He's been bad at home. The Blue Jays have won 5 straight. Phillies have lost 4 straight. I don't buy the Blue Jays having continued success, and the Phillies have got to start turning things around. Lefties are hitting for a lot of pop against Francis, 12 home runs this season. Harper's back after getting hit with the pitch, and then Schwarber is as dangerous as it gets at the plate. And Sanchez has given up 3 runs or less in 9 straight and 2 or less in 7 of those outings. So I think he can be fine. And I know Toronto's been very good against left-handed pitching, top 10 in OPS, top 7, I think, in OPS. But I'm sticking with the first 5 as well because I don't want to really have to worry about the Phillies bullpen. That's been dreadful this year. So I'm going to go with the first 5, Phillies first 5, -0.5.
I'm going to go MLB here also, and I'm going to go to that Rangers-Rays game, and I'm going to go under 8 runs scored. I know that's a low number, but you got Malley on one side who, I didn't see this coming with his 1.64 ERA, but we're enough of a sample size now that I think he's established that he's turned the corner. Rasmus has been really good for the Rays at 2.33 ERA. These are both under teams. Like the Rangers are 40-19-1 to the under, 15-11-1 on the road. So it's been a little bit more prevalent at home, but still, they're a dead under team. We thought that Rays ballpark might play small, right? 21-13-3 to the under are the Rays at home, and the Rays 34-22-3 to the under overall. Texas is under in 11 of their last 14 games. The Rays are 10-4-1 to the under in their last 15. I'm not really buying either lineup right now. You look at Maui's last 12 starts. 10 of those 12, 7 total runs or fewer were scored in those games. Maui's last 9 starts, 8 of those games, 6 total runs or fewer scored. Rasmussen, his last 11 starts, 8 of those, 7 total runs or fewer scored in those games. Rasmussen's last 6 starts, 5 of those, 6 total runs or less. So I'm going to ride those trends. That's pretty prevalent to me. There's holes in both of these lineups, and everybody's talking about the Orioles, and the Orioles are a terrible disappointment. But the Rangers not hitting the ball. Like something's up there. Maybe they need to change hitting coaches again. I don't know. But
yeah, they haven't done anything since Brett Boone.
It's not like the Edgar Martinez thing in Seattle.
Right.
Like this, they got like a 2-game bump.
It's pretty crazy. You go from a team like Texas, who was leading the league in runs scored, especially at home, to a team that's bottom 10.
Yeah. So let's hope that trend holds. Ariel, second down.
Second down. This line actually moved against me. I still would like it if you could get this number. I would like it if you could get the new number. So Carlos Rodon, the Yankees lefty, it was 7.5 plus money to the over. It's now dropped to 6.5 minus 120 to the over. The only reason I see this dropping is because Rodon faced Cleveland on April 23rd and had 8 strikeouts going over the 7.5 number. I never really liked backing someone who did it the first time around and then they get them the second time. However, the Yankees are home. And Rodon has been so good this year against teams that have high K rates against lefties. Rodon's had at least 8 strikeouts in 7 of 9 starts this year against teams with high strikeout rates against southpaws. 2 of those 3 were at home. When you look at the lefties that faced Cleveland this year, Skubal had 13, Reagans had 10, Rodon had 8. So that's like even on the lower scale compared to some of the good lefties that have gone up against Cleveland. 7 overs, 2 unders when facing the Guardians if you're a left-handed starter, averaging just over 6 strikeouts a game. The average is 4.5. So the Guardians, their lefty-righty splits are pretty drastic. They strike out not as much against righties, a lot against lefties. Yeah. Rodon at home, I would take his over tonight.
Yeah, Guardians have the 10th highest strikeout rate in the league against lefties. And we think of them, to your point, as a team that finds ways to get on base. You know, Kwan, a lot of guys who seem to know who they are. They don't hit the ball very hard, so just try to find a way not to strike out. But, yeah, they struggle against lefties. Okay, time for third down. You could play this bet 2 ways. I'll tell you how I've played it. And if you want to go to the 7.5 assist, I wouldn't be mad at you either. But SGA over 6.5 assists for game 1 of the finals. That 130, like I just line checked before we went on. I could find minus 137. I could not find the 130. Like we build these graphics a little bit early and these things change. So, but I did see it at BetMGM at minus 137 right before we that's the lowest I saw it before we started. Like he's averaging 6.9 assists per game for the playoffs. He's going to be incredibly well rested and ready to run. The Thunder play at the highest pace in the NBA at home. That's going to suit his ability to get easy transition assists and things on the fast break. They played twice in the regular season. I don't make a ton out of that, but SGA did have 8 assists in both those games. Like the Thunder and the Pacers, for that matter, elite assist-to-turnover ratio. They don't waste possessions, right? A 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio at home in the playoffs for the Thunder. That's elite. 66.6% assist percentage. That's best in the NBA in the postseason. They average 20 assists per 100 possessions. Number 1 in the NBA in the playoffs. And just old school, 28 assists per game in the playoffs. That's second most. We know he can shoot. We know he can drive. But more than anything else, he wants to get other people involved in the offense. I think this sets up incredibly well for him. Again, you could find plus money at 7.5 if you want to go that way. But this is how I've played it. Ariel, what you got?
Yeah, SGA, what a monster. That series is going to be very fast. I'm starting to handicap the NBA props for today, but I'm going to get to some Major League Baseball again. Phillies lefty Christopher Sanchez under 4.5 strikeouts. You can get this at plus money, which I find to be really good value against Toronto. The Blue Jays just don't strike out. And not only do they not strike out, they barely strike out against lefties. One of the lowest strikeout rates against lefty starters. The Jays are averaging 3.8 strikeouts a game against lefty starters with 9 unders and 3 overs. 8 of the last 10 lefties to go up against Toronto went under 4.5 strikeouts. Sanchez, we've seen a small sample size. He's only faced 1 low K rate team this year against lefties. That was the Mets. He had 2 Ks. Especially with Philly on the road, I'll take a chance. Plus money. Great value here at Sanchez under 4.5 strikeouts.
Love it, love it, love it. Beltway Ben.
Going to the WNBA here. I'm going to
Nice.
go with Erika Ogunbowale over 17.5 points at minus 135. It's going up to 18.5 some places. I would still take that. She's over this in 3 of her last 5 games. Paige Beckers is still out with the concussion. Ogunbowale shoots a ton of shots no matter what, even if she's on or off. She scored 15 in the first game without Paige, but missed a ton of shots. She was 1 for 5 from 3. She's over this number in 3 of 4 road games this season. They're playing the Storm, who she dominated against last year, clearing this in 3 of 4. She's not playing as good as everybody knows she can. Like, she's one of the best players in the WNBA at her best, but she hasn't played that way. But she has showed glimpses. A few nights ago, she scored 37 against the Sky. She has to be better shooting the 3. And with one of your best players out, she's going to have to turn it on. The team's 1-6. They need her scoring a lot. That's how they're going to have to ride it. So I like her to go over 17.5 points.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, Beltway Ben is expanding his horizons. I've got to start capping the WNBA.
WNBA props is one of the sharpest markets out there.
Yeah, I've got to start watching more and I'm the kind of person though, like I want to like study something for a season. You know what I mean? Before I start giving it out. So I'll probably just watch and keep my own notes this year, and then maybe.
What I like to do also when I'm handicapping a new sport, I like to try it myself. Then I have friends who I know are good at it, and I'll ask them what their thoughts are on the props before I end up giving it out. WNBA, super sharp market. My friend Hakeem Profit over at Wager Talk, he loves capping the WNBA. He's been super profitable for years. So when I start to try to do props, I'm like, hey, Hakeem, what are your thoughts on this? Am I doing this right? Sometimes he says, yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes he's like, no.
Yeah, no, totally. I definitely have a lot of research to do before I start talking about it. But Beltway Ben has us covered. Okay, it's time for 4th and Long. Here we look at more of a long shot or a bet with a longer term payoff, something a lot less immediate than most of the plays we're going to give out here. We're looking at NBA Finals MVP markets. We've all kind of brought our own perspective to this. We've all dabbled in this. I've sprinkled a little bit on one individual. And I have a feeling Ariel and I might be in lockstep on this one. So Beltway Ben, what value play do you like here? Obviously, the chalk is going to be SGA and then Halliburton and everybody else. But what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm not taking any NBA MVP just because, again, I think SGA, it's SGA's and he's going to win it. But if I were to take one, I would just take Siakam at plus 1900. He won Eastern Conference Final MVP. He's been in the NBA Finals before. If the Pacers do win, like Halliburton has been awesome at some points, but Halliburton's also had some of those letdown games where he scores 8 points, and that happens. It just does. I think Siakam, if somehow the Pacers can do it, I think he's going to be the guy to lead them. He already won 1 Finals when they beat the Warriors in 2019. So again, I'm not playing NBA MVP, but if I had to go to a place where you get some good value, it would be Siakam at plus 1900.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not more than that. But you know, when you look at how heavily weighted the markets are just overall for the series to the Thunder, because there's no way that any Pacers getting it unless they win. You know what I mean? Unless they win.
Right.
But if Halliburton were to go down and they were to win, I would have to think Siakam would be the guy. I mean, he'd have to be scoring like he did in the Knicks series, 35, 40 points some games. Ariel, how are you sizing this up?
I'm looking at the power forward Chet Holmgren at 80-1. Again, I don't love it because I agree SGA and it's not just because SGA is great. The Pacers have been terrible against guards the entire season. In this past 2 series, it was Mitchell averaging 34 points a game against Indiana. Jalen Brunson averaged 30 plus a game against Indiana. So why would an SGA? That's the only reason why I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Obviously, it's going to be SGA. The matchup just is so perfect for him. However, the matchup was perfect for Karl Anthony Towns too. Anyone with size who can also shoot is having success. And we've seen Chet Holmgren start to shoot the ball better in the last series. He had a bunch of double-doubles in the Denver series. As long as he could put up a few, if let's say Chet has double-doubles in nearly every game, because with this fast pace, there should be a lot of rebounds. I could see maybe 80-1 working out for Chet if SGA is somehow contained. Because if you're really thinking OKC is going to win it, Chet's the next best consistent player on OKC. And that would be the only way for me to play the MVP market. 80-1 is a really nice freaking payout.
Yeah, and I sprinkle now. I got it at 75. You got it at a better number than me. The place where I do most of my business a couple days ago had it at plus 7,500, and I put a few bucks on it. And I'm with you. Basically, I tried to look at it. Okay, I think the Thunder are winning the series. I think the Thunder are winning the series in 5, and I'm with you guys. SGA will be the best player on the court. But let's say Halliburton does mitigate him to some degree. Let's say he becomes more of a facilitator than a scorer. So, like, who benefits the most from that? And if you look at the markets, like, I mean, Dort, like, boy, he'd really have to shoot the hell out of the ball, right? And, like, Williams does so much dirty work, and it's not always showing up in the box scores. So much has to him defensively. My pet theory here is that Hartenstein's going to be the guy doing the dirty work, and Chet's going to be able to hang out on the wing and get some easy looks and get a chance to penetrate and pick up, threes there with the N1s with the foul. We know he shoots the 3-ball well. His confidence really seemed to grow, I thought, last series from the Denver series, where it was a little more hit or miss. And I'm looking for a value play. Like, could he become their leading scorer, or at least close enough to SGA, and you factor in the rebounds, and maybe there's a game or two where he hits a 3 at the end. Like, it's priced the way it's probably going to go. It's probably SGA's award to lose. But he didn't get it in the conference finals. Now, maybe that means he's going to get it in the finals no matter what. Maybe there'll be an overlap in a lot of people who are voting or what have you. But I could talk myself into Holmgren getting some easy rebounds and shooting the ball pretty well. And when you see a big guy shoot that well and take it to the hole, I kind of talk myself into it. So put a couple bucks on that. For 75 or 80-1. I don't mind letting the books hold my money for a couple weeks and see how we do. All right, that brings us to overtime. Last but not least, because we get some dogs involved in this play. So Beltway Ben has a Major League Baseball future that he is very enthusiastic about, and he's going to try to sell us on this, Ariel, and we're going to decide how we would play this bet. So we've got 3 versions of Marley the Wonder Pup here. This is one. This is kind of small Marley. Maybe a little sheepish, like maybe she just got into some trouble, and mommy was like, no, we don't eat that. Or, don't chew the furniture. Don't chew the furniture. Then we've got this version with the big paw in it, which we'll say. So this will be, if you would sprinkle on this, you would sprinkle less than a unit. You would do a little something. Ben talked you into it. Then we're going to make a 1-unit play. We're going to go with this version of Marley right here. Too cute. And then if you want to go whale, if Ben has changed your life and you're like, you know what, I'm putting 1.5 units or a couple units on this because I'm rolling with Mike Trout and the Halos, then we've got this version of Marley right here. So Beltway Ben, you have been whispering this to me for a few weeks. And now that Trout's back, you started tapping me on the shoulder and yelling it a little bit more. So Halos in the postseason. How? Pourquoi? Pourquoi?
Yeah, first I want to start. I'm with the middle Marley. I'm playing this at a unit. I'm confident that it can happen, right? Plus 1,800. I'm not guaranteeing you or telling you to hammer a play, but I like what the Angels have going right now. Neto's awesome. I like him in the leadoff spot, slashing 268, 309, 512. The lineup as a whole is dangerous. Ward seems to have found it. He slowed down the last 7, but he's got 5 home runs in his last 15 games. Trout's 8 for 14 since coming back. Solaire's fine. You know what you're going to get with him. If they can sneak into the playoffs, Soler shows up in the playoffs. And then Shannonwell's been one of the best on-base guys in the MLB. Very well in that 2-hole. And Ohapi slowed down. Think he'll figure things out. He's got off to a real good start. I'm not too worried about that. And then like Rengifo is struggling, but Rengifo is a guy the last 3 years that I think a lot of teams have had on their radar at the deadline, but he just has to be healthy. The bullpen is one thing that needs help. Reed Detmers, if you look at his ERA, you get scared away, but he's actually been pretty good. He's given up 1 earned run his last 10 innings pitched. He's in the relief role now. Early on, I don't think he loved it, but like I said, he's been better. Jansen is fine as a closer. I don't.
Yeah,
he's not the worst thing ever. He's not the best. The bullpen does need some help, and that's the easiest thing to add at the deadline. It's such a large pool. Zavarajan he would be fine if his role was a little bit lesser, but like I said, you can add at the bullpen and turn him into something. Ron Washington is their manager. He's made the World Series. We've seen it. We've seen him make the World Series, lost back-to-back to the Giants and Cardinals, but he's been to the playoff 3 times as the manager. This team looked horrendous for so long, and everything was bad. And even right now, with some question marks, they are hitting the ball very well. Trout hopefully can stay healthy every single year. You're just kind of waiting for something to go wrong. But if Trout can stay healthy, that lineup's terrifying. And guy like Yusei Kikuchi, after the tough start he had, he's been better. They can add starters. Tyler Anderson got shelled last night, but one of the luckiest pitchers in baseball the last 5 years. I just think if he can throw as he is at plus 1,800, I cannot get off of them. The AL, the pool in the AL is not tough. Like if you look at teams they're trying to catch, it's not anything that serious. The Angels, everybody wants to see Trout in the playoffs. We would have loved to see him and Ohtani, but of course they couldn't make that work. I want to see Trout in the playoffs. And like I said, Jason said, I've been telling him I'm trying to get it going. Finally, Trout gets back. He's a little hot. And last night I'm at live. I'm trying to get it going to everybody in there. Not a single person is hearing me. They're pushing me away. Like nobody's really hearing it. But again, at plus 1,800, I'm buying it.
Ariel and Marley. Ariel and Marley, the tag team. Are we feeling this at all?
No, I can't back them. There's no pitching. They're
Adam
bottom
Gase.
10 in starting rotation. They are one of the worst bullpens in the league. Everything positive you mentioned was about the hitting. That's awesome. And sure, I guess you can say sometimes hitting gets you to the playoffs. But that division, if I have to trust 3 teams in that division, it's the top 3. They've got the Astros, who always know how to climb through in the second half. The Mariners always make you sweat till the last week of the season. And the Rangers are led by Bruce Bochy, who's unreal. And with Bochy at the helm, I would trust the Rangers over the Angels. The Central is better with the Tigers, the Royals, and the Guardians. The AL East, down year for sure, but don't sleep on any of these teams to be maybe a second half comeback team. You know that the AL East is going to invest at the trade deadline. You know that the Red Sox and maybe Toronto, but I would say the Red Sox will definitely be active. The Orioles, we know, like who cares? Like they don't do anything. I just don't trust the Angels pitching. And to me, I can't put my money, and I never will in any sport. If you don't have a good defense and you don't have a good pitching staff, I won't put money on you. And sure, that might have hurt me by not betting the Indiana Pacers because they haven't been known for their defense ever. But fine. If I lose some years because of that, that's okay. Ultimately, if you put money on every good defense in sports, every good pitching staff in sports, you would be more profitable than just focusing on offense.
Ben, I'm rooting for you.
I hope you cash.
I will be with you.
I love Ron
mentally,
Washington.
like from a karmic standpoint. I will be paying attention to the halos. And kind of like Angels in the outfield. I'll be rooting for this to cash because you are on a bit of an island here. And there's a time and place for that. And you know your ball. But like
I was on an island last year with the Royals too. I'm just saying. Last year with the Royals, I was on an island and they did it.
I love Ron Washington. If he stays for a couple years with LA, he can definitely he's already turning this team around. But is it this year?
If I were to sprinkle on Sheepish Marley, it would be more a fade of the American League. So, like, I thought about this a lot last night. Like, could there only be one team that makes it from the East? Like, there could be. The Yankees might beat up on everybody else, and it doesn't matter what they do at the deadline. All those teams have serious flaws, and they might all be 500 or worse. Out West, like, the Astros, to me, that seems to be winding down. The Rangers haven't been able to get their jam back for a while now. I thought the A's would be better than they are. So, like, could I talk myself into a scenario where the Halos are the second best team in that division, and then a bunch of Twins get hurt, right? And I just don't buy the Guardians this year. I don't buy the Guardians over 162. I don't think they hit enough. I don't buy their starting pitching. I don't think Bieber's going to be much on his way back. So, like, could it just be the Tigers and the Royals there and like the Angels be in that mix? Like, I could see it. I can't get there with my wallet. I can't get there with Marley the Wonder Pup. But I want this, not even just because now the show is kind of out there on it, but like I just want it for you, Ben, because this has been your pet project and you finally got to the window on it. And I hope it works. That is fishy. They're like 18-1 feels a little low to me. Like, I think somebody in Vegas might be with you. Because that to me is not like totally giving that away. Like,
I mean, if you look at the standings, they're so far back. And again, like the line, that's
what I'm saying. Why isn't this like plus 2,500? Why isn't this plus 2,100?
And what they need to add is they're at the deadline, and they don't have Mike Elias on it. And whoever they draft,
that's a good thing.
Whoever they draft this year in the draft somehow will be up at the MLB by the end of the year. So you know how they do that. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Ariel, we give you the last word. Let everybody know again where they can find all of your information.
thepropqueen.com. Check out all my videos and live stream on the Prop Queen Pod, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Subscribe to the YouTube page at Prop Queen Sports. Everything's Prop Queen Sports. The website, thepropqueen.com. Subscribe to the newsletter. It's been a lot of fun working with you guys and getting in any kind of advice that I've gotten from you, Jason, through the last year has been super helpful. So thank you.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that because I am flying by the seat of my pants. So I'm glad it's working out for you. Maybe it'll work out for me. We'll be back.
It's going to be a whole new year next year. A year from now, we're going to be so pumped about starting our own things.
Oh, I'm pumped. I'm definitely pumped about it.
And Ben, it's so nice to meet you.
Same to you. Same to you. Same to you.
So Ben and I will be back on Wanna Bet at noon tomorrow with my buddy Nick Costos. You guys know him from BetMGM Network and You Better You Bet. Mackenzie Brooks from CBS Sportsline on Thursday. Tim Murray from VSiN on Friday. We'll have fresh bets for you tomorrow and some dog pictures. Ben, take us out.